Hi, my name is Jonathan, and this is a video for people who suffer with social anxiety. I myself have suffered with social anxiety my entire life, and I want to give you, my audience who suffers with social anxiety, 7 ways to cope with social anxiety. 7 ways to help you cope and treat your social anxiety. Now, first of all, I want to relate to you my own personal experience with social anxiety. And first of all, I want to say that people who suffer with social anxiety are not necessarily shy. And people who suffer with social anxiety are not necessarily introverted. Because many people who are extroverted suffer with social anxiety as well. There is a difference. You are born being introverted or extroverted. You are innately introverted or extroverted. You will live with being introverted or extroverted your entire life. Whereas social anxiety is something that is treatable. And shyness is something different than social anxiety. Shyness is a normal, healthy development of just growing up. Whereas social anxiety is abnormal. Social anxiety is not something that's normal. Okay, there is a difference. Myself, I have suffered with, well, now it's at a moderate level of social anxiety, whereas before it was a very severe form of social anxiety. But I also am severely introverted. And there is a difference. Like, to me, introversion, how I define introversion, is my whole environment around me, to me, is a projection of myself. People are a projection of myself. So that's how I interact with my social environment, where I feel like I don't need to necessarily interact with other people because I feel like I'm already in communion with other people. So I'm naturally a quiet person. Whereas extroverted people, they understand correctly that other people are outside their own reality. So extroverted people feel like they need to reconcile with their own environment by proactively interacting with other people. That's why extroverted people want to talk to other people. That's the best way I can define introversion, is other people are a projection of myself, and when other people talk to me, or when my understanding of my reality is challenged, for example, another person talking to me, it's hard to explain, then I get like awkward about it, like nervous about it, because hard to explain, but all my life I've been naturally a quiet person. So I feel like when I'm in a social situation, I can be interacting with other people and not to be talkative at the same time. That's why in a social situation people will say, well, Jonathan, why are you being so quiet? When at the same time I have this reaction, well, I'm not being quiet. I mean, I feel like I'm interacting with other people. I'm just not talking with other people. It's hard to explain, but there is a difference. Like that's introversion is just weird. Okay, so my own life experiences with social anxiety. First of all, I did not start talking until I was like 5 years old. Okay, my preschool teacher told my parents. My preschool teacher had the audacity to tell my parents that I would not succeed in life. My preschool teacher said I would fail high school. I would just be a complete failure throughout life because I was so introverted. I just did not interact with other people. That was how I was perceived by other people. So, but that was more an expression of my introversion. That was not necessarily an expression of my social anxiety. Okay? So, but where I believe my social anxiety came from is I was significantly physically and sexually abused while I was growing up, so that I developed a very deep fear of performance, a very deep fear of authority because of being abused. So that's where I feel like my social anxiety came from. By the way, I have a cheat sheet. I keep looking at my papers. But I can get away with that, doing a video about social anxiety, because I like need to look at these. So, yeah, okay. But on top of the abuse, being abused at home and being abused by strangers, also throughout grade school, I was bullied severely, beat up by my classmates. So on top of being, so that just added to everything. Being abused. So like for me, the only solace I had was, because I grew up in a national forest, was going into the woods, just spending time with nature, going into the forest a lot. Like that was my own, that was my solace, because I had nowhere else to go. So that's like why I'm a very much an earthy person, because like the woods, Mother Earth is my solace. So yeah. I don't want to drag on the video, sorry. But like, okay, throughout grade school, like, I was scared to death when the teacher asked me a question during class. I was like glued to my seat. I was completely terrified. I just did not say anything. So I went through that without grade school, and it got worse during high school and junior high, because throughout junior high and high school, just all the time while I was at school, the palms of my hands would just sweat. I would often, very, very often, get red in the face, and I would have panic attacks just throughout while the time I was at high school. And speeches during high school were just a complete disaster for me. I mean, it was more uncomfortable for my peers, my giving speeches, than myself. I mean, I would give a speech and look at the faces of my peers. They were just completely terrified looking at me give a speech. It was so uncomfortable. I don't get into details, but like, it was uncomfortable for everybody. My speeches were a complete disaster for me throughout high school. So college did get better for me, because I went to a small college, and the classes were small, everyone was personal with each other, everyone knew each other. So college was better for me. So I was better able to interact during class because of smaller classes and the professors caring about you. College got better for me. But since college, I have been employed in both the nursing field and the social work field, and that has been better for me because, ironically, I am very much a people person, though I suffer significantly with introversion, being shy, and having social anxiety. I'm very much a people person, and so I feel like I do not have to perform if I'm helping people. I'm directly helping people, I'm interacting with them, and so I don't feel like the pressure that I need to perform. So the nursing field and the social work field, because I got my degree in social work, that has been good for me as a career, directly helping people. Where the social anxiety I struggle with comes in being employed is like during meetings, when I have to go to a meeting, or like talking to people on the phone. That's where my social anxiety is exacerbated, and I just cannot function during meetings at work. I cannot function on the phone, so I still suffer with social anxiety. While I'm at work. So, okay, so like, all these papers here. So, yeah, so like, okay, let me just get to, the 7 ways to help you guys cope with, social anxiety. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think I forgot something. So, like, okay, before I say that, what I'm saying is, what I believe the fundamental reason for my social anxiety is that it's performance related. Like, I suffer with social anxiety in the context of where I'm trying to fit into a certain mold. Like, I have to perform a certain way. I have to act like a certain person. That's where my social anxiety is the worst. It's like, in a personal performance context, that's where I suffer with social anxiety. Like throughout junior high and high school, I do fine with parties and interacting with my friends. I've done okay in those contexts. Like, at parties, it's not so bad. But it's like when I'm at school or any context, when I'm in the presence of an authority, it's just like I break down, cannot interact, cannot function in those contexts of having to perform in a certain way, having to fit a certain mold. That's where I just break down. So, okay. I also have attention deficit disorder, so that's why maybe I'm not all there. Okay. You guys. The 7 ways to help you cope with social anxiety. The first one is, if you are still in high school and you want to go into college, I recommend for you to choose a small college. Visit a bunch of colleges, find the one that you are most comfortable with. Find the college that is, you find the professors and all the students are very personal. Everyone cares about you. Everyone knows each other. That helped me the most because I went to Asbury College in Kentucky, and it was a small college. Everybody knew each other. Everybody cared about each other. A small college will help you succeed if you have social anxiety. Classes are small. You'll feel comfortable interacting. You will get better grades in college if you go to a small college and everyone knows each other. If you have social anxiety and you go into a big university, I think that you eventually will just drop out eventually because you will not be able to handle it. Okay? So I highly recommend, if you are still in high school going to college, you have social anxiety, go to a small college. First coping thing. Second thing, if you have social anxiety, is you need to tell your friends that you have social anxiety. Tell your friends, tell your boss, tell your teacher, tell your professor that you suffer with social anxiety. That's very important for you to do. And I understand that people will probably not understand what you suffer with. They'll not be able to relate with social anxiety. So I think to help back you up is it's very important for you to get a diagnosis from a psychiatric professional that you have clinical social anxiety. Because if you tell people you have this diagnosis, that will help them better understand what you have. And other people knowing that you have social anxiety, that will help you, that will give you the confidence to perform, whether it's in school or with a job. Them knowing you have social anxiety, that'll help you, that'll give you the confidence to perform. And you're knowing that they know, you're knowing of them knowing you have social anxiety, like they will understand when you show the symptoms, the physical symptoms, the psychological symptoms of social anxiety. They will understand what you're going through. They will understand what's happening when you start having a panic attack or whatever. So you're knowing about what you're going through with having a panic attack or social anxiety, that will prevent you from having a complete meltdown. Okay? Like you will not completely break down during an episode of social anxiety if you know that they know what you're going through. So in the long run, it will help you if you have the courage to tell people that you have social anxiety. and get a diagnosis. Okay, that's the was that the second thing? The third thing related to that, okay, if you are in school, you are in a class that requires you to give a speech, okay, and part of the class requirement to give a speech, go in front of class and just give this speech, and you are terrified of it, then I recommend you to get a slip from a doctor or whatever, so you can get the permission, official permission, to not be able to give a speech. Okay? You know, that's the difference. That's how you know you have social anxiety. Because like a teacher, professor will tell you, well, okay, you have social anxiety, but if you give a speech, that will give you confidence. You know, that will help heal you from social anxiety. And maybe there's some people who, you know, they're afraid to give a speech, and they give a speech, and, you know, they feel after the speech, they feel good about themselves, they have confidence. Well, if you give a speech, and after the speech you have confidence in yourself, then you do not have social anxiety. Okay? Because a person with social anxiety, for a full month before the speech, they cannot eat, they cannot sleep. And they give the speech, and they completely break down, and it makes them worse. Their social anxiety is worse. It totally does not give them confidence to give a speech, okay? That is how you know you have social anxiety. It totally does not give you confidence. So yeah, the third thing to help you cope with social anxiety is I think you should get from a doctor a slip to give to a teacher, whoever, that you have social anxiety, so you do not have to give a speech. Get out of that class requirement. Okay. Fourth thing to help you cope with social anxiety, related to that, is you need to get involved in an activity that does help you build confidence. Okay? Get involved in an activity outside of the context of where you suffer social anxiety. Get involved in an activity that helps you build confidence. It has to be an activity that, at least in the smallest way, you are relating to other people. Like for me, throughout junior high and high school, I was involved in the performing arts. I was in theater and a bunch of drama clubs, drama groups throughout junior high and high school. And I was in a choir. I loved to sing. I sang in choirs and ensembles. And it's funny because though I hate giving, I cannot give a speech, I personally thrive on the stage. Because like when I'm acting, I'm a different person. So like I had the normal stage fright before going on the stage, but I could sing in public before an audience. I could act before an audience. And that helped build me confidence. And also, this is funny because like a couple of years ago, I modeled for a sketch drawing class at a university. It's funny because like I can model nude 3 straight hours before like 40 co-eds and not have a problem with that. But I can't give a speech for 5 minutes. I'll break down before a speech. Because like modeling is dealing with performing like the arts as well. So like it's funny. So okay, like also like photography. So it doesn't have to be performing arts, but the visual arts. Like I love photography, and also I can take pictures and show other people my photography, and that's in a small way relating to other people too. I show people my photography. That helps me build confidence. So that's the fourth way to help you build confidence, is to get involved in the activity that will help you build confidence, okay? Building confidence. The fifth thing to help you cope with social anxiety, it also related to the arts, is to play an instrument. Like myself, I play the piano, I play the oud, which is a Middle Eastern lute, and I play the mandolin, I play the harmonica. Even if you don't have the talent to play an instrument, like it's important for you to express yourself, because